Unit 1B, circles. This probably makes me look less like crud. No, it does. It can hide my face a little bit. Again, just because I haven't gotten a lot of sleep, screaming child and all, now I've got a hat on. Somehow that helps. So, we will be spending, let's do a little layout. As Mrs. Armstrong said, neither of us are here tomorrow. Folks, one of my biggest pet peeves is to get a poor note back from a sub. When you guys are here with us, you act brilliantly. I mean, we don't have problems. I shouldn't have any problems when I come back on Thursday when I read my sub notes. Right? Okay. So, tomorrow you're going to be doing a review of area, some of the problems that we just, the warm-up, and circles. Okay? Nothing's going to be overly hard. You are going to be turning it in. So if you need to go home and watch the video tonight, do so. Let me get all geometric on you. Cece, marker. Perfect. Stick to basketball. Good talk. Softball might not be your sport, I'm just saying. Might not be. So, first off, a circle. And I know it seems silly to say, hey, what is a circle? Because we all know what a circle looks like. You can say, hey, I know that's a circle, but how do we define a circle? A circle has a center with an infinite amount of points equidistant. That's a new word. Equidistant means the same distance. Equal distant. Okay? So an infinite amount of points equidistant from the center. So every point along a circle is the same distance from the center. So if I've got this being my center point, equidistant. So it's got infinite. This circle, if I drew this line, 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 they're all the same exact distance away from the circle. Everybody with me? Can you see that? Can we see that? Yeah, we can. Winning. Okay, questions about what a circle is. Is a sphere a circle? No. I need hands. Is a sphere a circle? Carly?
Yes and no, I guess.
Yes and no. Okay, what makes it no?
Well, I don't know.
Okay, that's all right. Owen?
No, because a circle is a 2D sphere, or is a 2D surface, and then a sphere is a 3D on the 3D surface.
I couldn't say it any better. Mr. Armstrong, can you toss me the V-ball? Yeah. So, Owen said a circle is two-dimensional. It's flat.
Okay.
Thank you. A volleyball is a sphere which is comprised of many circles, but is three-dimensional. So anytime that we are talking about circles, we do not care about spheres. A sphere is not the same thing as a circle. Okay? We're going to try to trick you up with that. I'm going to say, okay, find the area of a sphere. You don't know how yet. Everybody with me? Sphere, circle, flat, not, well, I mean, it's a little flat, but not in the sense that we're worried about. Everybody with me? Okay. I can do this.
You almost landed in a trash can.
Perfect. It's gonna live there now.
It's like right
So-
under the chair.
That's where I wanted it. Here's what I want you to do. Draw an overlarge circle with center C. The center is point C. The center of a circle will always be from, well, let me try that again. The center of a circle will always be a point. You head banging some music in your head? I like it. There are certain things that we're going to need to know about a circle. I'm going to color code them. If you've got colored pencils or you've got highlighters, not a bad idea to use. What do we call the segments that go from the center of a circle to the edge of a circle?
Actually, yeah.
Go ahead.
Raised.
Not raised. You had the first letter correct. What do we call it from the center to the edge? Owen? You had your hand up.
Yeah, and then you said that he had the first letter right, and I was like, oh no.
Okay, what do you think?
Right angles.
No. Well, they're segments. They're not going to be angles. They are called radius. So, you can put it underneath your circle. But what is a radius? A radius from center to edge. So it's from the center to the edge. Now, I'm going to put a little star there. Halfway across the circle. Okay, halfway across the circle. The word that's critical there is actually just part of a word. Half. So a radius is only half of the distance across the circle. Elizabeth, you choose purple or orange. Okay. Choose correctly this time. Elizabeth, purple or orange? No, you're right with orange. So we'll go orange. This time, I'm going from the edge through the center to the edge. It's a straight line. No, I don't trust you, Owen. You had your hand up. You're like, woo, I got it. And then you're like, nah, I don't want to answer. Come on, somebody else besides Owen. Somebody else besides Lydia. Thanks for stepping up. Very good. This is the diameter. Okay, so I could try to throw out lots of geometric terms and say, it is a chord that goes through the center. But then you'd have to know what a chord is, which is, we're not going to do all that. So, a diameter from edge to edge and through the center. Okay? Has to pass through the center to be a diameter. Has to pass through the center to be a diameter. Whole way across. So, let's just do some math out loud once you copy it. I'm going to give you a minute. going to go back and forth. Oh, Mr. H is screwing up. Wait a minute, Mr. H, you're screwing up. We abbreviate radius. Does anybody want to take a wild guess? Oh my gosh, you guys are great. Radius is a lowercase r. I know it's going to catch you off guard, Jess. You ready? What should we abbreviate diameter as? Oh my gosh. I am teaching the most brilliant people around. Trevor, when I miss, throw us away, please. Thanks. Were you scared, Maddie?
And Mr. H, I heard you say something very important. That
Yes.
is a lowercase r
Yes.
and a lowercase b.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I put it lowercase, don't make it uppercase. Capital. Capital idea, gentlemen. Man, sometimes I wish I was English. Not really like living in England, but with an accent. It's a jolly good time. That'd be amazing. So, then I could be a tacky tourist. So, here's my question. Here's question 1. If r equals 5 inches, d equals what? So, this is important. We're going to need to be able to go from radius to diameter and diameter to radius. If the radius is halfway across the circle, if it's just half, how do I find all the way across? Come on, I need some new hands. I need some new hands. Go ahead, Carly.
Multiply by 2.
Multiply it by 2. 2 radii is 1 diameter. So if radius is 5 inches, the diameter is 10 inches. I heard that's easy. Yes, correct. It is. If diameter equals 8 centimeters, r equals something. So figure out how we're going to go and find the radius. Diameter is the whole way across. Radius is halfway across. To go from the radius to the diameter, we multiplied by 2. How are we going to go from the diameter back to the radius? Come on, Avery. What?
Divided by
Say it louder. Be confident.
divided
Divided by 2. So if my diameter is 8 centimeters, we divide it by 2. Trevor, what's it going to be? With conviction. Say it strong. 4. So the radius will be 4 centimeters. We're either, if we start with the radius, we double it to get the diameter. If we start with the diameter, we cut it in half to find the radius. Listen, that is crucial to this problem. It's not even a problem yet. Know it. I can't think of, there's words that won't come out. Essential. Know this. Okay, one more word that we're going to learn today. Okay, what is it?
Circumference.
It is going to be circumference. Good. I've already used this marker. I want this green one. So I'm going to outline that is a horrible outline in green. Even Miss Armstrong's like, oh my gosh. Okay? Owen already told me that is out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back up. The circumference. So, when we find the outside edge of polygons, we call that perimeter. A circle does not have a perimeter. It has a circumference, because we can't add the edges of a curve. Okay? So, circumference is the distance around the entire circle. Okay, circumference is the distance around the entire circle. Questions there?
Is there an abbreviation for circumference?
Yes, ma'am. No. It is not a lowercase c for circumference.
Is it uppercase?
It is a capital C. Okay, circumference is a capital C.
Lowercase is for center?
No,
Oh.
that's just the point. The point is point C. So yes, it would be lowercase, but center doesn't have an abbreviation. Okay, so let's have that copied down. These words are going to be critical for the rest of circles. But all we're worried about today is going to be circumference. Well, why is it important, Mr. H, that we have radius and diameter? Because you're going to be using those for the formulas to find the circumference. That says circumf. Spell.
Yes.
There are two formulas for circumference, and it just depends on what you're given. If given radius. So here's formula one. If given the radius, we're going to say circumference equals 2 times pi times r. Now, I'm going to let you know what all of that means, because it's not hard. What does the C stand for?
You spelled
You
spelled it wrong. You spelled it with an N.
No, that's my N. That's an E-N. It's good. Okay. What does the C stand for? Yeah, this is my circumference. So this is what we're trying to find. 2 is just 2. This symbol here, pi, is a number. Pi is a number that goes on forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever with different numbers. So we shorten it, we round it. Anytime that you see pi, you're going to use the number 3 and 1400ths. 3 and 1400ths. Everybody with me? You need to know that pi is 3.14. 3 and 1400ths. Everybody with me? Last but not least is lowercase r. What does lowercase r stand for, Ella? Radius. You will want these in your notes. I promise. Okay? That's if given radius. And I'm going to move out of the way. I'm sorry. If given diameter. If given the diameter, we're going to say C equals, well, if I have 2 times r, what is that? That's just my diameter. So for circumference of given the diameter is pi times d. Those are the two formulas. Connor, what does this capital C stand for?
Circumference.
Which is the distance around the circle. So it's the notice air quotes, it's the perimeter of the circle. but we don't call it perimeter, we call it circumference. Cece, what does pi stand for? I'm not going to let you off that easy. What does pi stand for?
Pi.
Yeah, what does this symbol of pi mean?
Number.
Yeah, what's number?
3, 14.
Hmm?
3 and 14.
Okay, 3 and 14 hundredths. Pi is 3 and 14 hundredths. And Izzy, what's the D stand for? Diameter. I would make sure that somewhere in your notes, this takes precedence on a page. What that means is make it big, make it pop, make sure that you're able to find these in your notes somewhere. And Mrs. Armstrong is going to walk you through one of the problems here. So here's our first example. 10 inches. Okay? I want you to find the circumference of that circle with 10 inches. Mrs. Armstrong, can you walk them through that and how to substitute in?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, so if we look at 10 inches and we're going to find the circumference of our circle, I'm going to come down here right now and I'm going to put C equals because I know I'm solving for the circumference, okay? The first thing we need to do is come over here and we need to see if we're given the radius or if we've been given the diameter, because that's going to depend on what formula we use. Okay, what have we been given here? If you think we've been given radius, raise your hand. If you think we've been given diameter, keep your hand down. Radius, hands up. Diameter, hands down. Yeah, we've been given the radius, right? So, 10 inches is half of the circle, or half of the distance, halfway across the circle. So we've been given the radius, so what formula are we going to use to solve this? Ryan, what formula are we going to use to solve this?
We're going to do circumference equals 2 times pi times radius.
Yeah, so we're going to equal, circumference equals, I'm going to use a different color, 2 times, and I'm actually going to put pi in there, 3 and 14 hundredths times what our radius is, which is 10. Okay? We can do this without using a calculator. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to go 3 and 14 hundredths times 2. That's how I'm going to start it. 4 times 2 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. How many decimal points do we have? Decimal places? 2. This gives us 6 and 28 hundredths. Are we done?
No.
No.
What's our next step? What's the next step, Avery?
2 multiply 6 and 28 by 10.
Yeah, a nice way to say that, to multiply 6 and 28 hundredths by 10, which we can do. 8 times 0 is 0, 0 times 2 is 0, 0 times 6 is 0. Put in your placeholder, 1 times 8 is 8, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 6 is 6. How many places do we have? How many decimal places do we have? Everybody show me with your fingers. 2, all right? We have 2 decimal places here. So we're going to take and add our 2 partial products and move over 2 places. So if we come down here to the bottom, our circumference equals 62 and 8/10 one thing we didn't talk about is we have to use the units. So if we're given inches, then our circumference is measured in inches. Okay? So we end up with our circumference of this circle being 62 8/10 inches. Emma, what question do you have?
So whenever I first did it, I tried doing it by myself,
Sure.
and then I did, I don't know why, but I did 10 times 2, and then did it pi 10 times 2 times 3.14, I still got 63.
Emma brings up a really great point. I don't know if you all heard what Emma said, but I'm going to say it again for her. Emma said the first thing she did was multiply 2 times 10, correct? And then she took 2 times 10, she took the product of that and multiplied it by 3 and 1400ths. And she said she got the same answer, right? We call that the commutative property of multiplication. Yeah, that works because when we multiply, if we're just multiplying, it doesn't matter what order you do the multiplication. In something like this, it's called the commutative property of multiplication. And yeah, that's a great observation, Emma. Thank you for sharing that. Leighton.
Could you do 10 times 3 and 1400ths? And then times it by 2?
Then multiply it by 2. Multiply. Yes. Yep, that would work as well. Okay, let's try a different one. And again, you're putting this down, okay? And we'll give you another example here. Pardon me. Okay. No, those I don't usually do examples, but I do. All right. Look at the example that we have up there. This is example number 2. We talked about we're solving for circumference, so we'll come down here and put C equals. What's the first thing we have to look at? What's the first thing we have to consider before we're able to start? It's the first thing we have to consider before we're able to start, Lydia. Okay, could you be more specific?
Like if it's radius or diameter.
There you go. We have to know whether we've been given the radius or the diameter. Okay? If we've been given the radius, raise your hand. If we've been given the diameter, keep your hand down. That's awesome. No one should be raising their hands because this is indeed the diameter, right? If we've been given the diameter, what formula are we going to use? Luke?
C equals pi times,
Diameter. Okay, so say it again. C equals?
pi times diameter.
Yeah, C equals pi times diameter. So we'll come down here, pi times the diameter. C equals 3 and 1400ths times 8. Okay, everybody go ahead and start that one.
So I should see multiplication going down on your notes. Let's see what you got. Ms. Armstrong, is it fair to say that the most important thing is whether we have the radius or the diameter in these?
Absolutely.
So as long as you can say, man, that's only halfway across the circle, that must be my radius. Man, that's all the way across my circle, that must be my diameter. If we've got that, then we know which formula to use.
Well, it should be a curvy line, but this is pi. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so 4 times 8 is 32. Regroup the 3. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 3 is 11. Regroup the 1. 8 times 3 is 24 plus 1 is 25. Okay? Show me with your fingers how many decimal places do we have? Everybody, I should see. So if I say show me with your fingers, that means everybody's showing us. We have 2 decimal places. 1, 2. Move our decimal place over 2 places. And our circumference equals 25 12/100ths. What are we missing? What are we missing? Everybody on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Centimeters. 25 12/100 centimeters. We have to have that unit, whatever unit we've been given.
Yep, because only area is squares. Circumference is not. Unless it says what is the area, area is the only thing that has units squared. Now listen, tomorrow you will be trying some of these on your own. Okay? Make sure you bring your notes and rewatch the video if you need to.
Did you have a question, Taylor?
No, I was gonna ask if you consider that.